Arsenal is taking on Luton Town. That is today at the Emirates, and the game of football is going to be played there. And it's really a huge game for Arsenal because they might obviously go on top of the Premier League table if at all they beat Luton Town. Remember, they're having 65 points, and the table leaders are Liverpool with 67. If Arsenal win, they'll go to 68 points, and Liverpool is going to be playing on Thursday. And if at all they win, they retain their place. But Arsenal will have to beat Luton Town to obviously get into that position, as Man City plays against Aston Villa the same night. Welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. This is Rokani David, and don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 21,000 subscribers before the end of this week, and let's continue putting up the shift. Now 400 likes should be smashed on this video to see that we really reciprocate the energy, and we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims. Ramadan Kareem. Now Luton Town is one of the teams that we're going to hit to suffer a lot, and they've been really not having what we call the best of a season. Their last game they played, they lost to Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. They drew with Nottingham Forest 1-1. They lost to Bournemouth by 4-3. They drew with Crystal Palace 1-1. And they lost to Aston Villa by 3-2. And then Man City beat them by 6-2 at home. Remember, the last time Arsenal had to play against Luton Town, Arsenal came up and obviously left it late. You all know that. They left it late because that game of football was really huge. And it was a Declan Rice-led header that resulted into Arsenal doing the needful of really collecting the possible 3 points. Some of the points that if at all Arsenal lift the trophy will obviously remain size into their brains a lot, because it was really a very huge win. Arsenal leading 1 goal, 2 goals, then Luton Town pulled one back, they leveled and then took the lead. Kai Havertz leveled, and then Declan Rice capitalized onto that cross brought in by Martin Odegaard into the back of the net to make it 4-3 in favor of Arsenal. Now Luton Town is traveling to the side of Emirates, that is London, and they're going to be welcomed by the Arsenal side. Something that is not going to be an easy platform to obviously feature on and really do your work, because at Emirates, Arsenal have gone ahead to turn it into a fortress. By the way, this season, the worst result Arsenal has gone ahead to get at the Emirates, I think they lost to West Ham, right? They lost to West Ham by 2-0. If at all I'm not mistaken, they lost to West Ham by 2-0. And those are some of the games that Arsenal will look way back to and really ask, was this necessary for us to obviously get all these losses? Because if they never lost to West Ham, if they never drew with Tottenham Hotspur and Fulham, I think Arsenal would have gone ahead to be already in 70 points, because they dropped 7 points in there. Added those 7 points, and they went ahead to lose. They lost those 7 points at home. Added those 7 points to the 65 they're really having, and they would have been having 72 points right now. But it's always good to focus onto the next game, and Luton Town is the game. Now, Arsenal comes into this game of football when they're not having any injured player. Every Arsenal player is fit. Julian Timber is fit, though there are certain things that the manager is still really observing to obviously get him into the mix to come in through and do the job with the club of Arsenal to get into the starting 11. But I won't be shocked if at all the manager puts him into the squad. But even if he doesn't feature in the squad, a lot has gone ahead to be put on for the club of Arsenal, and that squad is wide enough to come in through and obviously do the needful. Coming in through from the side called Etihad in Manchester with a point that was really precious, though a win would have gone ahead to sound better. But the return to action, that is the side of Arsenal. When you look at the side of Luton Town, they're having 13 players injured, and Albert Sambi Lokonga, one of the best players that has gone ahead to feature into the midfield of Luton Town, is out. He's not going to be making it to the team of that is Luton Town, because he was loaned to Luton Town by Arsenal. Now, other players that are really injured include Tom Locker is having a chest injury, Amari Berry is having a thigh injury, Mavaras Nakamba is having an injury, Elijah Adebayo is having a thigh injury, Dan Potts is having a thigh injury, Mads Anderson is having a calf injury, Chiodize Ogbene is having a thigh injury, Jacob Brown is having an injury, Gabriel Osho is having an injury, Resh Burke is having so these three, suffered knocks in the Tottenham Hotspur defeat, and we're waiting to see whether they're really gonna make it into this game. That is Rech Book, Doherty, and Chongi. Those are three players that might really be really given what we call a late fitness test. Now, we've gone ahead to be told that the haters fans anxiously wait to learn whether the trio will be fit. Edwards only labeled them as doubts in his pre-match press conference. That is Deyeki Hakikosa, Woodrow, John Clark. So those are others. So it looks like it's really gonna be a little bit of the lightweight side of Luton Town that's gonna be taking on Arsenal. But in the game of football, never say never, because even those that you call lightweight that are gonna obviously be brought in might turn out to be really hard for you to break. I really know exactly what it means to obviously break down such teams, and breaking down such teams is not an easy job. So that's why you have to come out and really give it a benefit of doubt at a certain point that anything can happen. Anything can happen in this game of football. So let's go into the predicted starting 11 for Arsenal and see how we expect Arsenal to line up tomorrow or today, because in my country it's already a Wednesday, and in some other countries it's not yet a Wednesday, but it depends on where you are. And the system Arteta is going to use is a 4-3-3, and I expect huge changes to happen into this beautiful fixture that's going to be played at the Emirates. I think David Raya is going to really maintain his position in between the stitches because he's untouchable. In the remaining competitions that Arsenal are really in, I see no competition where Arsenal is going to come up and obviously bench the player. Having gone ahead to really save 2 penalties that took them through to the quarterfinals, it's like a bye-bye to Aaron Ramsdale, that you can only go ahead and really play the game that Arsenal is playing Brentford, because he's not supposed to be playing against his former side that loaned him to Arsenal. That is David Raya for you. But for the rest, nothing is going to really move them to where they really want to be. So that is David Raya for you. And then I think the first change is going to come in through on the right back position. I think Benjamin White deserves a rest, and this is where I see Tomiyasu coming in through to play part into the side of Arsenal. He came in through and really played like 30 minutes when Man City was tussling it out with Arsenal. He closed down Jeremy Doku on several occasions, and I think he's going to be played onto the right back. Remember, the last time he went ahead obviously feature for Arsenal as a right back, and he started that game. He came up and obviously put in assists in like 3 consecutive games. That is Tomiyasu. So for Benjamin White, he has been having really a tough time at the side of Arsenal, and I think I really understand what he's going in through as a player, and everyone will sympathize with him. He has gone ahead to be playing with an injury, and if at all you want to have him play against Brighton, because Brighton is not going to be an easy game for Arsenal, you need a Benjamin White to play as the right back, because he's your first choice right back into the team. So I think some rotation should be made today as Arteta flaunts Tomiyasu ahead of Benjamin White. Benjamin White needs to rest a little bit because he has played lots of games. And remember, after playing against Brighton, in the midweek we are playing Bayern Munich. So that means players have to be rested in these games, especially those that we know are really enhancing a little bit of injuries and knocks. On the left back, I think another change should be made. Jakub Kivio has been magnificent. Stellar performances have gone ahead to be put in by him, game in, game out, and I think it's high time he got rested. And resting him means that Zinchenko comes into play. Zinchenko was on the bench as Arsenal drew with Man City 0-0, and we've all of us come out and really went ahead to obviously come up and attack him for his deficiency in his defensive game. But obviously, when you're at Emirates, you don't expect Luton Town to obviously have a lot of possession. Arsenal is going to play a high press. They are going to really make it hard for them to play, and they are going to have like 70% or 68% of the possession of the ball, and that is not gonna really stop. So I think you have to play Zinchenko a little bit, because if you don't play him in a game like this, then when are you gonna play him? You aren't play him when Arsenal is playing Bayern Munich. Even when they are playing against Brighton, it's very hard to obviously give him a go into that game, because I think Jakub Kiwior will have to return to do the job therefore. So I think Zinchenko starts in the central defense. I think the central defense is going to be maintained. As I've always told you, this is the best central defense partnership in the Premier League. That is Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba are going to come into play to do the needful for the side of Arsenal. Therefore, they marked Erling Haaland out of the game, and Saliba was given the man of the match. And then after, Haaland went ahead to give Gabriel Magalhaes his flowers, because Magalhaes came up and really put in a shift that everyone went ahead to obviously appreciate. So that is the back five for Arsenal that I believe is really going to happen. And the other change that I believe is going to be made is in the stadium area. I think Jorginho is going to be rested. That is it, because he has an important game to play against Bayern Munich, therefore because of his experience and so on and so forth. So I think Thomas Partey, having gone ahead to play some minutes against Man City, he deserves a go into this game of football. He should be started. He should be started into this encounter to come up and obviously do a very huge job. He really looked very calm. His composure on the ball, no blind pass, fighting for the right cause, game reading, and obviously his vertical thinking through the middle axis or the central axis of the pitch was really exquisite. So I think the manager should think of obviously starting him a little bit in this game of Brighton to come out and obviously express himself. The other player that I believe is going to start for him is a constant. He's untouchable. That is Martin Odegaard. He's going to come in through and really start in this game as Arsenal takes on Luton Town. That is today at the Emirates. So that is Martin Odegaard. For me, he had a very beautiful game when they're playing against Man City. He happened to release players like 3 times, but all those cases, all those scenarios were not really given a very good go, because the players he released never made it count. Like Odegaard, so he released Saka, he released Jesus, he released Trossard. So those 3 times, Arsenal would have gone ahead to find themselves in better position of obviously scoring in a goal. So he starts. Then, who else comes in through? I think even Declan Rice is going to be given a goal into that game, but I believe if Arsenal kill off this game early enough, he's not going to come up and obviously do the needful and really get into the 70th minute. I think he will be rested to really get ready for the game of Brighton and Bayern Munich in the midweek. So that is the midfield 3 of Arsenal that I believe Arteta is going to really come in through and bring in. How many changes are those? 3 changes so far. I've gone ahead to predict that will happen as Arsenal takes on Luton Town at the Emirates. Now, right forward, I think Bukayo Saka has been passed fit by Mikel Arteta in his presser. I've gone ahead to see some footage when he's really smiling. Expect that in the morning. I'm going to really throw in a lot of footage of Arsenal as they really prepared for Luton Town down at the Sobha Reality Trading Center. So that is Saka for you, struggling, and I think this is the perfect game for him to get back to his goal-scoring ways. I would love to see that he clinches 20 goals this season, 13 already, but he needs 7 more. And can he get them? He never say never, because he got 7 in like 3-4 games. That is Bukayo Saka for you. He scored a brace against Fulham, a brace against Burnley. He scored against Liverpool. He scored against Newcastle. Those are how many? Those are 6. And there is a certain team are going to hit to score against. So he had 6, and from nowhere he was having 13. So if he's really fit, and the manager told us that it was fatigue, that's why they went ahead to take him off the field of play when they're playing against Man City. And if he gets himself firing, he can really get himself a brace today against this side. Then Left side, I think Gabriel Martinelli is going to come in through to start. He's loved by the manager, and I think there is something special he gives them, that pace, because Arsenal in transition, when they hit you on the break, you can really feel them. And I went ahead to see Ian Wright come out and really hint onto that point that Arsenal went ahead to miss out onto the lad called Martinelli into that game of Man City, especially from the word go. But I think he wouldn't have gonna hit to do a lot because he's coming in from an injury. But these are the games where you need him to obviously get back to his scoring ways, because last season he scored 16 goals, and right now I think he has is it 6 or 5 in the Premier League? I'm talking about only in the Premier League Martinelli had 16 goals. But if he keeps himself fit, he can really try to really clinch that number. Double figures are needed for Martinelli, Odegaard, Jesus, Saka, Kai Havertz to see to it that Arsenal goes ahead to really clinch this trophy. That is it. So from that, who is going to lead the line? That is the hugest question. You're having Kai Havertz, Edin Nketiah, and Gabriel Jesus. In this, you get this guy out of the equation. Edin Nketiah is out of the equation, and he's no longer even the understudy of Gabriel Jesus. The understudy looks like he's Kai Havertz, and every time Jesus has been away, Kai Havertz has been given the role to lead the line. He has gone ahead to look pretty. He has scored very many goals in the mix. So I think Kai Havertz is going to be rested, and Jesus is going to get a start. That is it. And the manager will have to see how he plays, because he played very well as a left forward, but he doesn't want to be played as a left forward. He'll always knock onto the manager's door and ask him to obviously play him as a center forward. So how many changes? Tomiyasu for White, Zinchenko for Kivio, Partey for Jorginho, Jesus for Kai Havertz, and Martinelli coming in through. So I think 5 changes are going to be made by the manager of Arsenal on that day. And the big question is it going to really be the moment of Arsenal going back to obviously get into what we call going rampant, like going gung-ho onto the team? Because Arsenal had gone ahead to start going gung-ho onto teams, and teams like Brentford went ahead to really put in a handbrake for Arsenal, because that game ended 2-1. But another team comes in through, fighting for its life, coming through the Emirates. We wait and see how that really pans out. But before I really give you my prediction, you know how I do it. I have to first read you what we call the head-to-head stats. Now, we've been told, following their 4-3 win at Kenilworth Road in December, Arsenal are looking to complete their first league double over Luton Town since 1983-1984 campaign. Oh, it has been really huge, but I know it's been huge. Luton Town has gone ahead to spend lots of times without playing into the Premier League. Then secondly, Luton Town have conceded at least twice in each of their last 11 away league games against Arsenal, losing the last 10 in a row. That is it. This is their first visit to the Gunners since a loss of 2-0 in 1991. Thirdly, Arsenal have won all 5 of their league games against promoted sides this season, netting at least 3 goals each time. 23 goals in total, the most combined goals any side has scored against promoted teams in the Premier League campaign is 24 by Arsenal in 2012-2023. So Arsenal looks like they are set to break their own record and obviously get it going and see to it that they really get themselves into that record and equaling it and they'll be breaking it, because I think they really have some other teams to play. Have they played? Sheffield is done. Luton Town. Has Arsenal gotten done with Burnley? Let me see. Because Sheffield, Luton Town and Burnley were the 3 teams that were really promoted. And now Arsenal has Wolves, Tottenham, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Everton. So they're only left with this side. If they happen to beat this side by 2-0, they would have gone ahead to break their record that they went ahead to really set in 2012-2013 by scoring 24 goals against all the teams combined that we are promoted into the season in that respective year. That is. Now, fourthly, Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 38 league games against promoted sides, 33 wins and 5 draws, winning each of the last 9. The only promoted side, sorry about that, the only promoted side to win away at the Gunners in their first ever season in the competition are Blackburn Rovers in 1992-1993, West Ham 1993-1994, and Hull City 2008-2009. Lastly, Luton Town have taken just 4 points from 24 available. Have taken 4 points from the 24 available from evening kickoffs, 7 p.m. or later in the Premier League this season. They have 1 win, 1 draw, and 6 losses, with their solo victory coming at home to Brighton in January by 4-0. That is it. So looks like Arsenal have to do a lot. Obviously bring in their A game to stop this side, which is really a little bit stubborn. And their players, you should really watch out, because their lineup might look as follows. Kaminski, Kabore is another one you should look on. That right back, flying with energy and putting in crosses. Then Hashioka, Mengi, and Johnson. That is the back for then. Mpanzu, Ross Barkley is another one to look at, and Clark. They're going to be playing the midfield. Then Townsend, Morris, and Woodrow. So Townsend is another one, and Woodrow is another one to look at. So we expect a very one-sided game, according to me. Arsenal is going to dominate the possession, and Arsenal are the favorites. They're going to play a high-intensive game, high press, and they're going to do exactly what they're going to be doing at Emirates, trying to get that early goal when they're really taking on these teams. And trust me, they'll get the early goals, and they win this game of football by 4-1. That is my prediction. 4-1 is my prediction as far as this game of football is concerned. And I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts of my predicted starting 11. Who do you start and who do you don't start? Are the rotations necessary? All of that and more into the comment section below. Rokani David is my name. Good night those going to bed, and those waking up, good morning. Bye-bye.